The days of the Great Famine are long over in Ireland. But today, a new danger looms over the Republic. Brexit could affect the country much more than the UK itself, taking 3.5% of Ireland's GDP after 5 years, according to senior officials of the Irish Department of Finance. The highest price of all could be paid by Irish farmers.
The Irish beef sector is hugely vulnerable under a hard Brexit scenario. We export somewhere in the region of 270,000 tonnes of beef into the UK.
A hard border could increase the price of Irish beef by up to 50%, making it dramatically less competitive. But Angus told me that this is not the only problem that Brexit could unleash.
If anything happens with the Brexit negotiations, which means that we can't access the UK market, suddenly we have 270,000 tonnes of beef on our hands, which we need to find a home for, and having to find a home within Europe, because realistically it's not very easy to find markets outside Europe. It could have the knock-on effect of dragging down the price of beef across the European market, but not just the price of beef. It would have a knock-on effect for poultry, pig meat and lamb as well too.
Although the UK is still in the single market, Irish farmers have already been affected by Brexit.
Last year we would have seen that in the second 6 months of the year our exports were €500 million below what they would have been due to the exchange rate fluctuation. What we are saying to our government is that steps have to be taken in the short term to deal with this prior to Brexit and to support sectors and enterprises that are impacted.
On July the 4th, the Senate Special Committee for Brexit discussed implications and possible solutions for the exit of the UK from the EU. The priorities outlined were protection of the Good Friday Agreement and freedom of travel between Ireland and the UK. Representatives for small and medium enterprises operating across the border joined the debate.
Well, border communities against Brexit stand for an economic island of Ireland, as is already there. There are many of our businesses and sectors of industry already integrated, and we feel that should progress forward. Whereas larger businesses have their foothold throughout Europe, in England and internationally, small businesses don't. In the agricultural sector I'm in, and especially the sector I'm in, which is red meat, primary production of beef and lamb, it could be the end of our farms.
Enterprise Ireland, the state agency supporting Irish business abroad, developed a tool for small and medium enterprises to help them test their readiness for Brexit.
I would say that the awareness of Brexit and the need to prepare and the awareness of how a company might be exposed has improved over the last few months. So we are seeing some progress.
Okay.
But we have a long way to go.
On the other hand, Ireland's attractiveness for global investors mitigates the fear of Brexit. On July the 5th, the Government Foreign Investment Agency announced a 22% increase in the number of jobs created from foreign direct investment in the first half of 2017. International financial services was one of the best performing sectors. In 2015, the government launched the 5-year strategy aimed at creating 10,000 new jobs in this sector. Now that banks might move operations from London to Dublin to retain the rights to operate within the EU, the government has set even more ambitious goals.
I think potentially there is the prospect for more jobs than that 10,000. And it isn't just Dublin for the financial services sector in Ireland. 30% of the jobs are in rural Ireland, and that's a position that we're trying to increase upon.
We are at Capital Docks in Dublin. The building that you see behind me was bought by US banking giant JP Morgan 2 months ago and has capacity for up to 1,000 staff. It's been the first sign of significant expansion in Ireland for a financial services company since the Brexit vote. Barclays could be the next. The British bank discussed in July with the new Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar plans for a further expansion in Ireland. Proximity to the UK, a common language, a similar legal framework and Ireland's low corporate tax all give Dublin the green light to attract financial services after Brexit. In any case, UK-based financial services will not all move immediately, nor to a single city, according to global consultant Willis Watson.
Immediately after Brexit, one of the concerns was that whether the city was just going to shut down overnight. Well, a year on, that does not seem to be the case. It's much more subtle, changes going on. And what we're seeing more is that decision of, over time, if we were going to build up our operations, it's not now going to be in London. It's going to be build up operations based in Dublin, possibly Frankfurt, possibly Paris, and maybe across all of those for the moment. So, financial services organisations hedging their bets a little bit and building up teams in different places rather than, deciding to go build up only in one location.
Experts argue that this won't be enough to spare Ireland from the bad implications of Brexit.
Brexit is an enormous negative for Ireland, both the Republic and for Northern Ireland, and anything that arrives in terms of business fleeing the City of London is purely at the margins. It's going to make a difference only at the margins. It will not outweigh the massive negativity of Brexit for Ireland as a whole.
The country wants the EU to recognise that Ireland has more to lose from Brexit than any other.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues to resolve, and I think we need probably some flexibility from the European Commission in terms of tax and expenditure over the course of the next 3 years if there's any dulling of the economy as a consequence of Brexit, and I think that's something that we will have to return to.
The battle for Brexit in Ireland has just begun.